Shaun Murphy, please take a seat. Rest those arms as well, because that trophy has some weight to it.
Congratulations.
That's really heavy, that trophy. Cheers.
Congratulations.
Thanks very much. Cheers. Thank you.
Absolutely first class.
Thank you.
Shaun, I've got to ask, you were sat there in that seat this time last Sunday, and we said to you, in fact, Jimmy said to you, what does success look like? And you said, if I do not lift the trophy, I consider that a failure. You've done exactly what you came to do. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I would like to say that I do say that every week, and it never works out. So I was just probably lucky this week. But, you know, you've got to come with the goal of winning it. You know, if you're not thinking of winning the tournament, then don't come, like, you know. So, you know, I was never going to sit here and say, oh, you know, I'll be happy with a quarter-final or a semi-final, and I wouldn't have been. And I think you can see that. Like, you can see how gutted Kyron was at the end. Like, it's not about turning out and putting a good performance in. He's desperate to win, as was I, and I'm over the moon. I can't believe it. I'm as shocked as everyone else.
So to give Jean Murphy the perfect present of a 147, you've doubled up, and now she's got a crystal trophy as well.
Well, that's, I feel really bad for my mum, because she had a cataract operation the other day, so she's been watching the snooker just through the one eye, like, you know, so I feel really bad for her. But
I tried that for the last 10 years of my career. It didn't work.
you had to earn that the hard way. Dare I say, as I was alluding to the guys, the tournament, it's felt that you've been somewhat untested, and then today Kyron put it on you, and boy, did you stand strong.
yeah, but you know, it didn't feel great. After the last interval, you know, I spent a lot of time in my chair. I didn't feel like I did a great deal wrong, to be totally honest. It wasn't like I kept, you know, I was in the balls and kept missing. It was just, it was awkward. And then he you know, my old manager used to call it dead man syndrome, where you just play like you've got nothing to lose at all, and they all start going in. That's what generally happens, and that's how it felt, you know. So I knew I would get my chance, and I think sometimes you've just got to stay resolute.
Sorry, Raji, how huge was frame 4 looking back at the 65?
Yeah, totally massive. I mean, you know, you look at the match and think, well, after the first session, you know, I was 6-2 up. And in the end, he nearly caught me, he nearly got level. And you think about little twists and turns like that, that fourth frame was, yeah, as you say, it was huge, massive.
But, by the way, you played fantastic from start to finish. The whole tournament was a complete joy to watch.
Thank you.
You know, the cubal control, the maximum, everything. But you come in here your first match with Wilson, you was 4-0 up, played fantastic, and then it went 4-3. And you said in here, because we were talking about winning tournaments, you said you got under pressure. You thought you felt a bit under pressure. And then on your matches, especially in the final, you seemed to stay down even more on the shot. Was that a conscious thing to live what was going on?
Totally. You know, it's very easy to get distracted out there. It's very easy to start worrying about where the cue ball's going, what's happening over here. You know, I would be a bit of a tinkerer with my technique. I'd always be trying a different grip or a different action or a different bridge length or so. So to give myself something just to focus on doing that, and it has so many added benefits staying down till the ball's gone in. Yeah, I mean, it's the first week I've tried it, and it's worked.
Not bad. The great Steve Davis used to do that.
How much of a help has Peter been? Because obviously I see you on the practice table in York, and you're not just hitting balls, you play a shot and you chat and you kind of do stuff like, well, we all know what a great competitor Peter was, so, I mean...
I said in York that, you know, I thought I'd gone a bit soft. And that was, you know, that was through chats with Peter. You know, Peter was an extremely determined competitor. And I'd also, as well, always wanted to try having somebody like a wingman, somebody in your corner who's been out there before. Someone who knows what to say and when to say it. And, you know, sometimes the best thing to say is nothing, isn't it? Sometimes when you're in that dressing room, you don't want to, you don't want to talk about snooker. And it takes somebody who's been out there, put the suit on, put the dicky bow on, gone to war, because that's what it is. It takes somebody who's done that to be able to help in the right situations.
I posed the question, didn't I, earlier in the week, Raji, just I think before or after Shaun came in to see us, that in some way, is this right in my thinking, and having Peter there, it's the thought of trying to please someone when you go back in to see him, and he sort of said, you know, okay, that was okay. You want to please him, don't you?
Well, yeah. There's a lot of accountability. There's an element of accountability. You know, I sent you out into the arena with the thought of doing A, B, and C. Did you do A, B, and C? What are you giving yourself out of 10 for what the things we were trying to do? You know, and it is about that. You know, you sit in the dressing room and says, right, what did you think about that, and what did you think about this? And you know, some days you score better Some days you score better than others.
We're talking about scoring. 51 rest pots attempted, 51 rest pots potted in the entire tournament. Flawless. I mean, that is statistically unbelievable. We have what we call the fruit machine down there. We're looking at it going, surely that can't be right. I mean, that alone, I mean, Dave Hendon will be all over that, by the way.
That's a dark stat, isn't it? That is a niche stat. But, yeah, I must say, though, and I do want to pay tribute to Kyron, just, you know, for the way he is as a pro. He's a great ambassador for the sport. He carries the weight of world champion very, very well, I think. I think he's a good world champion. You know, he's also a wonderful rest player, as we all know. I do think he's above me with the rest. I think he's got a bigger range of shots. I think I might sometimes be a bit more accurate, but I think he's got a much wider range of shots. He can play a lot more shots than I can with it.
How much snooker did you play with him as a kid? Because you was both from Northampton.
Yeah,
did you play a lot?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It was funny. I left Northamptonshire about 20 years ago. And he was, you know, obviously a few years behind, a bit of a generation behind. But I'd heard about him. Okay. I knew he was coming. There was always a little bit of rivalry between his town of Kettering and my town of Earthlinborough. Do you remember where the Matchroom League used to be all those years ago? There was always a little bit of needle between those two towns. So we were like, well, I've heard about this kid from Kettering. We'll see whether he's going to be any good. Well, he's turned out to be really good.
Been all right, hasn't he?
Turned out to be really good.
We can see from the smile of your face, you're happy. But actually, win or lose, watching you around various tournaments, you seem like mental health is in a great place. Your life is in a great place. We had a conversation with Ronnie and Mark Selby, really honest, vulnerable conversation. I just wonder where you are in your head, because it almost seems happy Shaun Murphy, brilliant on the table.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's just as straightforward as that. I think you know, that saying's very true. I think everyone's fighting a battle that you know nothing about. A lot of these battles are very much unseen, and I think throughout my career I might have given off the impression that all's okay. But actually, you know, we've all got things going on in our life. We've all got troubles. We've all got stresses. We're all going through something that people don't know about. And you know, it's you know, you've got to have good people around you. You've got to get help where you need it. You've got to have that support. It's very hard doing everything on your own, isn't it?
I remember I remember sat a few years ago in the COVID times in a hotel in Milton Keynes. We were all there for about 5 or 6 weeks, and it wasn't a nice time, was it?
That was dark.
You know, for everyone. You know, granted, obviously. Yeah. So you've just got to keep on it, and good times roll again, don't they?
Does this now give you belief, looking ahead? Obviously, we're going to enjoy the moment, rightfully so. A multiple Masters winner, 11 men prior to you could say they've done that. This puts you in the all-time top 10 list, by the way, of Triple Crown wins. You've now moved above the late, great Terry Griffiths. But looking ahead now to the Crucible, does this now make you say, as you alluded to Rob Walker, my belief's back, I can play at the big time, I can perform at the big time?
Well, before the partnership with Peter Ebdon, which is only 3 tournaments old, I totally lost my self-belief. Despite I might have given off the impression that, you know, I was the confident person everybody knows. But I thought the days of potentially winning tournaments like this, not just, you know, your average ranking event, but events like this that are different, they're in a league of their own. I did think those days were gone. And, you know, it was working with Peter that's helped me remember that I can do this.
You know you're in trouble, didn't you? I signed up with Peter a month ago.
Did you? Oh, well, there you are. I've also heard that there's been an in-house game of traitors, Jimmy.
Oh,
I've also heard you got outed.
He's the traitor. Traitor over here.
Is that the greatest game ever, or what? Listen, we've had so much fun.
He pretended he didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
He's absolutely done
That old
it.
chestnut.
The
And
world.
the lies.
You don't worry about the wind. You also don't worry about where the next snooker tournament's coming from, by the way, because right here on Eurosport is the short answer. So much to look forward to if you can even catch your breath after what we've seen at the Masters. It's the German Masters. We've got the qualifiers for the Welsh Open, that tournament itself, the World Open, and then we really do avert our gaze and fast forward across to end the season at the Crucible. Who's going to win that one? There's absolutely no way of doing that. And just a quick reminder as well that the Australian Open continues. It's at day 9 right here. We call TNT Discovery Plus, the home of snooker, the home of winter sport. But as for us here, right inside Ali Pali, it's all about the crystal, it's all about the Paul Hunter Trophy, it's all about Shaun Murphy doing the absolute business. He's produced magic all week. He is our Masters 2025 winner. Thanks to Ronnie, thanks to Jim, thanks to Alan, and thank you if you've been watching. But the final word goes to Shaun Murphy. Congratulations to an awesome snooker player.
Hi, I'm Ronnie O'Sullivan and welcome to Eurosport Snooker on YouTube. Click here to subscribe to Eurosport Snooker.